If you guys don't know Anne, she's our education guru. And then we have Kyle, who's our fitness director. He's that innocent looking young man up at the top. We got a great team, you guys. We got a really, really good team. We're very blessed. And we're blessed with all these people that we've been educating as trainers and coaches. I love reading some of their feedback and what's happening in their businesses and what's happening with their clients. It's my makes my day. It's amazing. Let me see here. Oh, I can
Can
change
I
the view.
share? Can I share with because I know I already recognize some faces from people. I know there's people in here already that are already in our trainer course. Can I share, Ann, with what we're going to do going forward with webinars?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, as we've always done with this business, has been very transparent with as we grow, we learn, we're figuring things out. And it kind of dawned on me that, as we do these webinars for the public, obviously we allow our trainers that are already in the training course to come in and watch too. I thought, what would be more valuable for you guys that are in the course already is we actually role play this webinar and work out all the kinks and talk about all the strategies of it before. And so I thought, what better for them to be able to watch is because that's more the business side, right? And so I think going forward, when we do these webinars, if you're already in our trainer course, we're going to give you guys access to that video with us and actually get to watch me and Sal argue about things and no, let's do this and have 1,000 slides that are amazing and be like, we should do all these slides, you guys. And then we
It
go,
was 84. It was 84. You can thank them
so
for shipping it down to 28.
but I just think if you're building your business, and a lot of that too is because just again complete transparency. One of the hardest things for the four founders has been for us is what we do really good is we were great trainers and we were really good at building and developing great trainers. It's been a learning curve to figure out how to do this to the masses and to be good at marketing. None of us have ever said that that was a strength of ours, and we've always had to outsource that. And there's always been this like push-pull relationship between when we hire marketing teams and what they want us to do versus how we just want to give value. And it's served us so well to just over deliver on value, over deliver on value. But complete honesty, it gets to a point where we've got to figure out this marketing game. And so what you get to kind of see is that part is us trying to fit, okay, this is what the marketing team needs from us to where we can go out and people that don't know who we are or what we're doing, how do we attract them to the brand, and then also convert and make sales out of that. So I think there's a tremendous value if you're in the course to be able to see that. And so going forward, you guys will be able to watch the webinar before the webinar. And then, of course, if you really want to come and watch it again, like we go live now, you can too. But I just think
Mhm.
that would be, I know if I was I was trying to learn and scale and grow my business. I think I would be even more interested in seeing what it takes to get to this point than this actual point right here.
Right, right. Okay. Are we done waiting, Anne?
Let's give it one more minute. I've been answering
Okay.
emails as Adam's been talking. So
Okay.
I just want to give us one more minute, maybe to
No
7:05,
problem.
one and a
No
half
problem. No
minutes.
problem. Again, our goal with Mind Pump was and continues to be to nudge and shift and help direct the fitness industry so that it can be a force for good. The most effective way to do that, though, is with you guys. Nobody impacts people in real, impactful, lifelong ways like trainers and coaches. We know this. We were trainers and coaches. It's taken us a long time to move in this direction, but this is our heart right here. And so that's the goal. That is the goal is can we turn trainers into successful career trainers who get clients lifelong results? And through this process, can we actually truly impact health in a big, big way? And I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. That's the goal. That's the idea.
All right. I just answered one more email. We haven't had one come in like a minute. So
Okay.
should be good.
Yeah.
Turn over.
Let's go. There we are. Okay. So we're going to start now. The goal of this is we are going to teach you. Let's go back. There you go. We're going to teach you something that we put together in an easy kind of to understand way that we found to be incredibly successful for the trainers that work for us. Incredibly successful. It's literally a 5-step framework. And if you follow it, the odds that you'll become a career 6-figure trainer are very, very high. Okay. And it's literally just 5 steps. If you follow it, you're on your road to becoming a 6-figure trainer. I know there's people out there that say 7-figure trainer, become a billionaire, whatever. We're not going to blow smoke up your butt. We're going to tell you the truth. And the truth is, if you have a passion, you have integrity, you are somewhat able, then 6 figures is something you can do. Now, those 7-figure ones, those are the excellent, like 1% trainers, but this is where it starts. And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, go to the next one. All right, real quick, we're going to give something away for free at the end of this. Okay, so I want to tell you guys this real quick. If you go to the chat and you type in the word grow, one of you at the end of this, we'll give this away at the end, is going to win our new educational course that teaches coaches and trainers how to convert and get clients without social media. So I'm going to spend 2 minutes on this real quick, okay? Because of social media, because of technology, this perception has grown that in order to build a successful business as a trainer, you got to use social media. I'm going to tell you the 100% truth. If I was a nobody in the fitness space, if Mind Pump didn't exist, if I became a trainer today, I would grow my business faster with these strategies than I would with social media. Now, social media is something that you should learn and use to build value and add to your business. But one of the biggest mistakes is that trainers are like, social media is how I'm going to build my business. No, it's not. There are strategies that are time tested that work right away. Literally within the first week, you'll get clients if you use these strategies. And it involves going outside, talking to people, working in your gym. These are strategies we've used for decades. They work exceptionally, exceptionally well. So one of you will get this course for free. You just got to type grow in the chat. All right.
Before we move on, I also want to add this course is also already approved by NASM. So you will get 1.6 CEUs through NASM and about 15 AFAA CEUs just for completing this course. And in addition to that, I think you're going to see there's a lot of hands-on workbooks and plug and play scripts that you can use, whether it's DM, whether it's email, whether it's texting. It is going to change the game for you, whether you're brand new or you're someone that just feels a little bit awkward with selling. So we're super proud of this. It is not available yet for purchase. So you are getting this entirely for free. This is separate above and beyond the actual course that we have. It is a specific topic. So even if you have our course and you haven't put the word grow in the comments, please do that if you're interested in that. And what we'll do is pick one of you at the end based on your engagement throughout this entire webinar. Someone who's paying attention, who's asking good questions, highlights, maybe shouting us out on social media, screen tagging us, something that's promoting us and the brand and your value in our coaching. All right, I'm done.
You will win this. And by the way, these strategies we used when we first started Mind Pump. All right, here are some testimonials from people that have gone through our course. These are real people. If you're in our forum, you know who they are. You have Kate here talking about earning the same income with 20 clients as she was previously making with 40. So cut her work in half with the same money. Will here, he completed the course, left his 9-to-5, tripled the value of his business, expanded his customer base by 2 times in 8 months. Now he has a team of coaches that are working under him. Next. We have Caitlin here, loves it. She's been training for a long time, says it's extremely valuable. Iwalina, she's very active in our forum, talks about how much she values our course. Our course works. What we teach works. But here's the deal. I'm going to share something with you guys. This was Adam wanted to share this. Okay, you guys ready? This is a whiteboard in our front office. Those are the 5 Mind Pump trainers. In other words, they work directly for Mind Pump. Anybody want to guess what those numbers are right there? This was for last month.
Is it commission?
What are some guesses?
Is it commissions?
Commissions, that would be crazy. It's not reps. It's not sessions serviced. It's not Instagram posts. All right, you guys ready for this?
Monthly income.
Last month, Marcelo sold $52,000 in personal training. Cole sold $32,000 in personal training. Corinne, $31,000 in personal training. Taylor, $29,000. This is in 1 month. Personal training. Tyler, $26,000 in personal training. Okay, here's the best part. Okay, I'm gonna explain these guys to you. Marcelo, just I don't know how long ago it was it 6-7 months ago, was a police officer. He was not a trainer. Cole is 19 years old. Taylor and Tyler, they have some experience, I believe 3 to 4 years. Corinne is a veteran. She's been doing this for 10 years. These are real numbers. These are real people coming in, training with them. And all they did, again, you can see Marcelo at the top there being the guy who was just the cop. All they did is follow what we taught them, apply it, and it works. By the way, this is month 6. These trainers on average, I don't think a trainer does under $20,000 in a month.
Every month, just so everybody knows, this wasn't like some anomaly or some crazy sale that was done, are averaging between 20 and 40,000. Marcelo's 52 was a new record, but previously it's been between 20 and 46,000 every month.
That's how much they're selling in personal training. And so I want you guys to know this literally works. If you don't believe me, you don't want to get our course, fine. Tune in next month. I'll show you their numbers next month. This is like a real deal. It's happening. We are going to build the most insane trainers company you've ever seen in your life, and we're going to teach the best trainers you've ever seen.
That's split for someone who just asked, just so you know, because I want to know the same thing too. That's split between in-person and online training. So our trainers they train in person and they train online. And so that's a split. Some trainers that's more online, other trainers that's more in person. But that's a split of that. They can do both, which is what we coach and teach most everybody, is that to do both.
Now, Corinne, I'll tell you guys about Corinne. The last package she sold to one client, this was an in-person client, was $9,000 for personal training. And she literally just employed the way that we teach trainers how to show their value, how to present their services, and then how to get these clients. And I mean, it works, you guys. It definitely works. So, all right. Okay. Our trainer, this is our course. So yes, I'm going to talk about our course a little bit before I get into the stuff I'm going to teach you. Our course is 20 hours of course content. If you like the podcast, you'll love our course, because a lot of the information that you learn is roundtable based. It's me, Adam, and Justin sitting down, teaching and discussing and going over. So if you like to learn that way, if you listen to the podcast, you like that vibe, that's what you get with our course. Of course, it also comes with written content, written materials that help you track what you're doing and learn. And again, all of this stuff that we're offering brings you CEUs with your certification courses, which you need anyway. And again, it works. I'm telling you guys this right now. If you do what we say, there is no, I know all the best courses out there. There is no course that teaches trainers as effectively as ours. There's courses out there that are just for online coaching. There's courses out there that teach you biomechanics. No, we teach you how to build a real business. And we don't blow smoke. Okay. By the way, the first 10 people today that, if you don't have our course, get our course. So I'm letting you guys know this right now, if you want to get it anyway. It's discounted. You're going to get a bunch of free stuff. I'll show you that later. The first 10 people, though, are going to get a call with some of our program directors like Ann, and she's going to do some strategic planning with you for your business. So this is, normally you would have to pay $500 for this. The first 10 people that sign up today for what we're going to talk about at the very end, you're going to get this one-on-one, and it's not going to cost you anything extra. Okay, let's talk about the 5 steps to building a 6-figure business. I'm going to start with the first one. Now, by the way, the goal with this webinar is to keep it under an hour. In fact, I'd like to be able to do this and give us some time to answer questions. So, because I feel like that's a real important part. So I'm going to kind of go through these. And at the end, we can have we can answer some questions. But step number one, by the way, nobody's going to teach you this in their courses because they like to tell you that you just, right out the gates, don't worry about it, whatever. No, we're going to tell you this. You got to get your reps. You got to get your reps. Nothing gets you better as a trainer like experience. I would trade all day long education for experience, all day long. I've hired trainers for decades. I've owned gyms. The most successful trainers were the ones that had experience. Education's great. I'm not knocking it, but it is not better than experience. In fact, the reason why we are the top fitness podcast is not because we're the most educated. If anything, we're probably the least educated in that space, but it's because we're so experienced. We know how to communicate. We know what works in the real world. And so you got to get your reps. What does that look like? Reps, all reps matter, whether they hire you and pay you or not. So when you first get started, work with people, train with people, coach people, do it for free. Trade your time for experience, which is extremely valuable. I can't put a price tag on it. Do it as much as you possibly can. Train your friends, your family, coach people online. Practice, practice, practice. The more you do this, the better you get. This is one of the reasons why I think big box trainers that are successful end up becoming some of the best private trainers in the world. The reason being, big boxes offer a lot of volume. And so it's easier to get tons and tons of clients, get tons of experience. A year of being successful in a big box gym is worth 3 or 4 years in a private studio simply because of the experience that you get. So step number one, we will never bullcrap you guys. Get your reps and get the experience. Nothing else matters without that right there.
I just want to point out something too, Sal, just because this is one of my biggest pet peeves with trainers when they first start is they overcomplicate this process. And I know you just kind of briefly talked about it, just like train your friends, train your family members. There might be trainers right now that are asking like, well, how do I get to that? Or it doesn't matter, although we cover all kinds of stuff like that in the course. So in the course, we have all kinds of roundtables where we discuss body fat testing strategies, collaborating with local gyms. There's a lot of ways to do this, but do not overthink this process. If you have time in the day and you don't have a body in front of you, you are already making a mistake. It is a race to get those 100 reps in, because the number one thing that I hear from trainers that are getting started first is imposter syndrome. I don't feel like I'm worth $100 or $150 an hour. Well, no shit, you don't. You haven't talked or helped anybody yet. So start with doing that, because just getting people in front of you and practicing will get those jitters out, will get those things. And then you can start to implore all the things that Sal's going to talk about in this webinar in that practicing all the sales stuff that we talk about. Like, first, just get bodies in front of you. Do not think about it like, oh, I need to be making a certain amount of money. Just get the practice. The money part will come later. And nobody wants to tell you that because it's not sexy.
That's right. And don't allow yourself to be like, well, I'm not getting paid. I cannot place a value on experience. It's the best possible teacher for trainers and coaches. And here's why. You're working with people. You're working with people. People are very different. They're very individual. What's going to work on some person isn't going to work on someone else. And so that experience, one of the reasons why when you listen to our episode and when we answer questions, oftentimes we can predict what's happening with that person isn't because we're clairvoyant. It's because we've trained and worked with so many people that we've seen that avatar and we have the ability to guess with some accuracy. It's not always 100%, but it's pretty damn close.
And what's really cool, I'll add one more point before we move on to step 2, is one of our trainers posted yesterday in our private forum all of the lessons that the guys have shared throughout our entire course in one Google Doc. And it was entitled, "What I Wish I Would Have Known, Mistakes Trainers Make." And they went literally module by module and pulled out tidbits like this, where, again, I think we have this misnomer that we have to immediately start making money because we have our certification and because we should have an influx of clients coming to us, when in reality, as Adam always says, there's an earning and a learning phase, and you can't skip that learning phase in the interest of making 10K quick, because if you don't build on a solid foundation, it's going to come and go just as quickly. So this
real quick personal story related to this. When I first opened my studio at the age of, I believe I was 24 as a personal trainer, I immediately signed up for a $3,000 a month overhead. That was my rent, $3,000 a month for a studio. And what I immediately did is I went around to local businesses and offered business managers free training. Now, I knew if I did a good job, they'll refer people to me, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and not train people. And so I filled my schedule with a bunch of free clients. That very quickly turned into real business. Okay. I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, the 8-question close that will land you more high-ticket coaching packages with confidence. Let me start by saying this, okay? When you're presenting your services, one of the most challenging obstacles to getting that person to hire you is when they give you what's known as an objection or a concern, people might say, right? So you present your packages, you present your services, and then they say things like, I don't know if I have the time, or I don't know if this is something I really want to do, or the vague, okay, that looks good, I want to think about it. Once you get that objection, it's very difficult to overcome. Now, the best salespeople in the world, there are strategies to do this. In fact, in our course, I teach the 7 steps to overcoming an objection that I learned years and years ago. And it does have a high degree of success in the context of what typically happens when you get an objection. But I'm going to be very honest with you. The best way to overcome an objection is to overcome it before it even comes up. So I'm going to paint a little picture for you guys before we get into some of these sample questions. Now, these questions that we're going to get into, by the way, are part of your goal assessment or your assessment. These are questions that you have put together, and in our course, we have all of them laid out, and I break them all down, but I'm going to give you some of them today. But what these questions are for is when you take the person in, they met you, today's their first free session or free assessment, you sit down with them, and you ask them these questions, and the goal of these questions is one thing: get this person out of their own way. I want you guys to realize something if you don't already know this. The number one obstacle in between somebody and better health or somebody and better fitness is themselves. You guys know this. Everybody here knows this. What stops people from getting healthier? They do. They almost always do. And so the idea behind this, and this is, it works. I learned it years ago. We changed it a little bit to make it more effective. I've taught it for over 20 years. It works like absolute magic. And if you do this right, the odds that you're going to get an objection at the end drop significantly. And what I mean by significantly is you'll almost never get an objection. Almost never. And that's 100% true on my experience, on our trainers that work here, and all the trainers that have worked for me. And it's all based off of the magical questions that you can ask, knowing why you're going to ask them, how to ask them, and what objection you're overcoming by asking them in the first place. And this gets that person to that place to make that final decision. The hardest step for somebody to get into shape is walking in the door of the gym or your studio. That's the hardest first step. The second hardest step is to say, yes, I'm going to hire you. Everything else is easy in relation. So we're dealing with the second hardest step here, which is getting them to say yes, and we're going to try and get them out of their own way. So let's look at some of these questions. I picked some of my favorites here. Okay, here's one. Now, you might have seen this before. You might work at a big box gym, and it's on your intake form. And a lot of us don't even realize why this one exists in the first place. And it typically sounds something like the one that's posted here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about achieving your goals? Now, what's funny about this one is a lot of trainers do this, and they just mark down the number, and then they move on as if it means nothing. Here's the idea behind this question. I want this person to agree and understand that they're very serious about achieving these goals. I want them to verbalize it. I want them to accept it. I want them to understand it. And I want it to be true. That's why I asked this question. Now, here's how you ask this question, because you have to give them context. If you take the average person and ask them this question, they're probably going to say a 4 or a 5, because to them, a 10 means I'm going to work out 7 days a week. That's not what this is. So I'm going to ask the question the way that I like to pose it when I'm talking to a potential client. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about achieving your fitness goals? 1 being, I don't care at all. 10 means I want to do something about it. It doesn't matter what you do, but you just want to do something about it. Where do you think you fall within that? Now, if you paint the context properly, usually you're going to get an 8, a 9, or a 10. If you get anything lower than that, then you ask them, okay, so you said you're a 6. What would it take to make it a 10? And typically what they'll say is, well, I can't work out more than 2 days a week. And you say, no, that's not a problem. This has nothing to do with how much you can work out. It just means how serious are you about doing something about this? And they'll say, oh, then in that case, I'm a 9. What they're doing here is they're mentally preparing themselves that they're serious about doing something. I got to do something. And the best time to do something was yesterday. The second best time is right now. So this right here is a very, very powerful question. All of you should ask people this anytime you're doing an intake, whether it's online or in person.
I want to highlight something right now because especially since you showed the numbers that all the trainers done this month. If you were to ask Marcelo of all the things that he's learned in the trainer course that has probably been the most valuable, I've heard him say this, he would tell you it was this portion of the course. Because you can't understate how powerful it is. And some of you may have heard me say this before. It's one thing to be a good closer and push somebody into a sale. It's another thing to be a great closer and be able to pull somebody into a sale. Well, how do you do that? You do that by asking the right questions. And this is the part that it takes trainers some time and practice. And what's great is that these aren't like we've asked ChatGPT to give us the 8 questions you should ask clients. This is from thousands of hours that the 4 of us have trained so many people on and figured out, okay, these are the bangers. These are the 8 questions you've got to ask. If you ask these 8 questions, you overcome most all the objections before they come up. And that's how you really come up. Like Sal said before, there's all kinds of great closing books that teach you how to overcome objections, but nobody likes to feel pressured or pushed into a sale. But if you do a good job asking the right questions, you lead these people to that sale. And if you were to ask Marcelo, he'd tell you, he's like, literally, Adam, I just follow exactly the questions, how you guys lay them out and tell me to do it. And it literally walks people in the sale. This is probably one of the most crucial parts of the course.
That's right. Next question. Again, I picked some of my favorites. Have you ever worked with a personal trainer? All right, what's the value of this? Well, there's a ton of value with this. Well, there's 2 options here, right? They say either yes or no. So let's start with yes. Yes, I have. Well, what did you like? What didn't work for you? Why did you stop working with that trainer? Okay, let's break that down for a second. I want to know what they liked, and I want to know what they didn't like. Why? Because that's going to help me tailor my presentation. It's going to help me tailor my mood, my energy. It's going to help me construct a free session or assessment in a way that gets them to feel like this is what I want to do. In other words, if they say to you, when you say, well, what did you like about working with this trainer? Oh man, they really paid attention to my form and technique. I'm going to make sure they know that I'm paying close attention to the form and technique. Well, what didn't you like about working with that trainer? God, they would train me too hard. That's really good information to know on this assessment. Now let's flip the script. What did you like? I like that they pushed me. What didn't you like? Sometimes they went too easy on me. That's going to help me tailor how I communicate to this individual so that they can feel comfortable hiring me. Okay. Why did you stop working with this trainer? This is very important because I like to follow that up with, well, what's different this time? Or what would have kept you working with this trainer? Good insight. Now, if they say no, I never have, what stopped you from hiring one before? And then they'll give you a lot of different reasons. It was too expensive. I didn't have time. My husband or wife wasn't supportive. I always follow that up with what's different this time. So if they say to you, well, and this, I'm telling you guys, this has happened so many times to me. It's comical. What stopped you from hiring one before? Oh God, it was just too expensive. Well, what's different this time? Oh, now I have expendable income. Bingo. Thank you. That's great. You know what's probably not going to come up afterwards? I don't have enough money. This is too expensive. Why? Because they just told me and themselves I have expendable income. Again, remember, the excuses that people come up with for not starting a health and fitness journey are often just that. There are real reasons, but by the way, if they're real reasons, we can solve that. But oftentimes it's them getting in their own way. Let's go to the next one. Okay, I love this one. Now, a lot of trainers and coaches completely miss the boat with this question right here. This is the most commonly asked question in an assessment. It's asked commonly because as trainers and coaches, we need to know what we can and can't do, what should I avoid or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's important. But what these questions are designed to do is to help you convey your value and get them out of their own way. Now, this is a value question. Let me explain. Do you have any chronic pain or past injuries or limitations I should know about? First off, it's very common for them to say no. No, I don't have any chronic pain. Lie. Now, they're not lying because they're trying to lie. They're just not telling you the truth because they're so used to their back pain, they didn't even think about it. So what I do when they say no, do you have any chronic pain? They'll say, no, I don't. Then I'll say, okay, let's go down from top to bottom. Tell me about your neck. How does your neck feel? Oh, that feels okay. What about your left shoulder? What about your right shoulder? And typically you'll get to a point where like, oh yeah, my right shoulder gets a little tight and stiff when I do certain exercises. Or, oh yeah, my neck, it gets real tight in the morning. And you want to keep note of that. Here's why you want to keep note of that. Because there is another part to this assessment that we're not going to cover today, which is when you take them out onto the workout floor and you do certain exercises with them. When you take them out to the workout floor, you're not trying to convey how fun working out is or how hard the workout is. What you're trying to show them is your value. And I'm going to tell you guys something right now that you probably realize. In one session, nobody loses weight, nobody builds muscle. Doesn't happen in one session. But you know what I can do in one session, almost always, is reduce chronic pain. I can almost always reduce chronic pain or improve range of motion. So if this person I'm talking to says, oh yeah, my right shoulder gets a little stiff, I mark that down. Then later when I go out into the workout floor, I say, hey, show me what movement hurts your shoulder. And they might do something like this. Like, oh, it hurts right there. And I'll say, okay, let me try something with you that I think is going to solve some of the pain. And then I'll do some correctional exercise, apply it. Then I'll go, now go do that movement again that hurts. And then this is what happens. They'll go, oh my God, what happened to my pain? And he'd be like, I'm a magician. Just kidding. Correctional exercise works very, very quickly. Now, it's not permanent, but if we do this on a regular basis, that pain is very likely to reduce and maybe even go away. Like the value that I just showed them by reducing their pain or improving the range of motion in that session is palpable. If I could do that, by the way, when I could show somebody an alleviation of pain in the assessment, the odds that they were going to hire me was like 99%. I knew when that happened, like done deal. They see my value. This is a total done deal.
I hope this is becoming really clear to everybody that's on this right now that are trainers or aspiring trainers, why I hammer the shit out of trainers that call in that don't have Prime and Prime Pro. Because this part right here, this is what we teach in MAPS Prime and Prime Pro, because I know this can be like overwhelming for a new trainer. Like understanding chronic pain, understanding joint mobility, how to assess somebody tends to be a little bit higher level of training. That was what we did when we went after Prime and Prime Pro. We're like, how do we deliver this to new trainers so they can learn and go through it so they can then apply it to clients? And it always blows my mind when a trainer calls in and they don't own those programs, because this part right here is one of the most powerful parts of the assessment. Now, hopefully it's clicking for some of you that have heard me hammer people on the podcast. This is why right here.
So this is a value building question. All right.
I'm going to add one point as we go forward, and I'm going to say that these steps that the guys are outlining are connected to one another. So as you're seeing here, this is a value add. And as Adam and Sal said, these are advanced skills. That's where getting the reps come in, right? Yes, you can learn the courses and you can take all of the certifications you want, but the application of getting in the trenches and going through the assessments and learning is going to allow you to show up with more confidence, as well as be able to serve the person in front of you. Because when you shift the mindset from, I hope that they want to work with me, it's not about you, it's about the person across from you. And when you diffuse the pressure off of you and you're focusing on helping that person by using corrective exercise, that's where you're going to win naturally. And it's not going to feel like a sale or it's you versus them. It's going to be a partnership where you're working together.
And we'll get more to that part a little later. Okay. But just so you guys don't freak out, it's not as complicated as you think, at least not in the sense of an assessment. Okay. I love this one because this gets rid of their favorite objection. This gets rid of the thing that has stopped them over and over and over and over again from their fitness goals. So this is what I like to ask them. Okay, John, so you haven't worked out for 5 years. What prevented you in the past from starting an exercise programming, or what prevented you from hitting these goals in the past? Whatever they tell you, this is the objection that constantly gets in the way. Here's the beauty about this question. No matter what they say, you reply, what's different about this time? Because what they're going to do is they're going to overcome their own objection right then and there. So if they say to you, these are some common ones. So what prevented you from achieving these goals in the past? Oh God, my kids are little and it was just, I had no time. Well, what's different this time? Well, my kids are in school now. I have way more time. Guess what they're not going to tell you later? I don't know if I have enough time. Or what prevented you in the past from achieving these goals? I couldn't afford to work with a trainer. What's different this time? Well, I got a good job now. Now I can afford it. Oh, that's wonderful. What prevented you in the past from achieving your goals? Well, I just didn't have the right mindset. What's different this time? Now I have the right mindset. So this is literally going to overcome whatever has prevented them in the past, which can be very different from person to person. The reason why I picked this one out of the 8 to show you guys is I believe this to be one of the most important ones. It's very, very powerful and it's individualized. Okay, I picked this one because this one gets rid of the almost impossible to overcome objection of I need to talk to my wife or I need to talk to my husband. If you ever get that objection, good luck trying to overcome it. Now, it's possible, I've done it, but you're going to play a game of, am I an enthusiastic trainer or am I just a jerk that's applying too much pressure? You don't want this objection. If you can overcome this objection before it comes up, beautiful. So the way you ask this is just like this. Do you have a strong support network? Who's your biggest supporter? Or what I like to do is open by saying, in my experience, my clients that have gotten the best success, both short-term and long-term, had somebody that really supported them. They had a cheerleader at home or they had a network around them of people that really supported them. Do you have that? Who's your biggest supporter? Now, if Mrs. Johnson's sitting across from me and she says, oh, my husband is my biggest supporter. Then I'll say something like this. Oh, that's awesome. Does he know you're here? Yeah, he does. How does he feel about you coming here? Oh God, he's excited. You know what she's probably not going to say at the end? I need to ask my husband. She doesn't need to ask her husband. She just told me he's excited about her being here. Okay. Now you may get I don't have really anybody that supports me. And you say, look, that happens sometimes. That sucks. But I tell you what, one of the values of working with me is I'm going to be that for you. How does that sound? And the person's going to go, that sounds really good. Okay. But this right here is a very important question to overcome the spouse objection, or I need to ask somebody else. But remember, follow it up when they tell you who that supporter is. Just say this. Do they know you're here? They say no. Say, well, how would they feel about you working with a trainer? Like, it's okay to be forward and upfront, by the way. I used to do this all the time. So like, does your husband know you're here? No, he doesn't know. He's at work and I decided to, come in and meet with you. Well, how do you think he would feel about you working with a trainer? Oh my God, he'd be so excited. He would love it if I worked with a trainer. Awesome. Like, that's not going to come up later when we get to the very end and I'm presenting my services. Okay, so I went over a few of those powerful questions that you can put in your initial assessment. There's 8 total of them. They're in our course, but if you use them properly, and the ones I gave you are good enough, if you just took those away by yourself, I think there were 5 or 6 of those, that you would be good enough. But there's a few more in our course. In our course, we also have what's called the 7 steps to overcoming an objection. If an objection does, in fact, occur, there are 7 steps that help you overcome it. By the way, all this stuff that we're doing right here is going to require practice. Remember step number 1, get your reps. That also applies to all the stuff that we're teaching here. So what I implore all of you guys to do is anything you take from this webinar or from our course, take it and practice it. Practice it on either potential clients or on people who are your friends or family. I mean, back in the day when we were working in gyms and managing gyms, we would walk up to each other. I'd walk up to someone like Adam and I'd say, Adam, pretend like you're a 45-year-old woman, 3 kids, wants to lose 35 pounds. And then we'd go. And then he probably would reply and say, do you want me to be hard or do you want me to be easy? I'd be tough. And we go back and forth and I would practice and practice and practice. So I didn't feel shy. I knew how to push. By the way, I'm a little side note. This is not in anything that we're teaching today, but I do want to say this. It's okay, everybody, to be pushy. sometimes, I'm going to say this again, it's okay to be a little pushy. I know we're trainers. We love helping people. Sometimes the way you help someone is you push them a little bit. By the way, I'm going to give you a little, again, this is not any of our slides or notes. I'm going to give you guys a little secret way to back out of being pushy, or when somebody feels like you're being a little too high pressure. If I'm talking to Adam right now and we're going through and I present to him and he looks at me and goes, all right, hey, listen, man, you're being a little pushy. This is what I would say. It's exactly what I'd say. I apologize. I just get so enthusiastic and excited about training people. You're somebody I would really love to train. I apologize. I can come across that way. And then I'd say, okay, so which one do you want to do? And I'd go right back to where I was before. It works like clockwork, and I can repeat it over and over again, and it works great. Sometimes people need to be a little pushed. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is not because I want you guys to be pushy jerks. It's because trainers often are so afraid of it that they don't do the little bit that it takes to get that person to get started. Okay, step number 3, master the assessment. Okay, the best assessment you're going to get anywhere to build value in potentially getting a client and an assessment that's going to help you with correctional exercise is MAPS Prime. Period. End of story. It's the best. That being said, in the context of what I'm teaching right now, in the context of teaching this, how to present to somebody and get them to see your value, the assessment you can actually do an assessment with almost anything. Okay. All the assessment has to do has to show your value. And here's how you're going to do. I'm going to show this real quick. We go in much more depth in our course and we teach this. But when you do your assessment, you take them through an exercise, you identify an issue, you communicate that issue to them, then you do something correctional, show them the benefit, make sure they understand the benefit. All you're doing with your assessment in the context of what we're talking about is communicating your value. You want them to see that there's some value to what you can show them and teach them. This is not an assessment to design their whole workout program. That happens as you train them. This is to build value, but master it and practice it. Practice it to the point where you can predict
at the
pain
same time, I
on
want to acknowledge that your feelings.
Somebody's mic was on there. You want to you want to communicate your value. That's the most important thing. Okay. Okay. By the way, we made MAPS Prime and Prime Pro, filmed it, the whole deal. That cost us $58,000. Is that how much it actually cost us, Adam? $58,000 to make? That's ridiculous. Anyway, if you get our course, you get those for free. That's what we're giving away today, plus a bunch of other stuff. So if you're not in our course, get our course. You get Prime Pro included. Okay. Step number 4 is prescribe training. You're not suggesting training. You're not showing them your prices. You're making a prescription. What does that look like? Let me give you a quick rundown of what that looks like. Somebody wants to lose 30 pounds. We did all those questions. I took them off the floor. I showed them some pain relief. I'm going to say, hey, look, I think I have I know exactly what I think is going to work for you. Let's go back and take a look at what I think we should probably get started with. Is that okay? Yes. I'm excited. Are you excited? Yes, I am. Let's go look. We go sit down, and then I would draw it out. I'd write it out. Here's what 9 months would look like with me. I think what I would do, what we'll probably start with is month 1 and 2, we're going to focus on correctional exercise. Now, within that period of time, we're going to do something called a reverse diet. It's going to build muscle, build your metabolism. This is going to set us up for some fat loss later on. Month 3 and 4, blah, 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 5 and 6, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to map it all out and make my prescription. And then I'm going to give them options. You can work with me this much, or this much. I'll tell them which one I think is the best, although I can make them all work. Which one do you prefer? But it's prescriptive. Think about going to a doctor. A doctor comes to you and says, here, take this medication. You're not going to go, well, what about, how weird would it be if a doctor's like, well, what do you want to do? Here's a list of things. Like, tell me what to do, doctor. You have to prescribe. Don't suggest. Don't just present. Don't just give them the rates. Hey, do you want to hire me? Here's what it is for 10 sessions per session, 20. No. Make prescriptions. Show them what it looks like so they can see. The reason why Corinne sold $9,000 of personal training was because the person very effectively, they saw very clearly what it would look like to work with Corinne for, I believe it was 9 months. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. Here's what it's going to look like on that journey. Here's what I can expect here, here, and here. That makes sense. Otherwise, 9 months of personal training just sounds like 9 months of personal training. And you know what the person's going to say? Well, let me start with 2 months. Let me start with a month. Let me start with a week. Let's see what this looks like. Because they have no idea what you're doing. So prescribe your training. This is how you get people to hire you for those large commitment packages, is because you made that prescription.
I'm glad you brought up Corinne, because I would tell you, everyone on here too, that Corinne, Marcelo, all the trainers would tell you this is probably the second most important piece right here, is not just recommending per session, per hour. This is the biggest mistake that all trainers make, is they go, oh, my hourly is this, how many sessions you want? Or they ask the client what they should do. Your ability to do all the other steps really well and then transition into, this is what it's going to look like for me over the next, say whatever number, 9 months, year, 2 years, it doesn't matter. And then you lay out, this is what we do in month 1. This is what we do in month 2. Your ability to do that confidently is what will allow you to sell packages like that. That's how you get $50,000 in a month of training. You don't get it by just being a good trainer and then opening a binder and saying, would you like to buy training from me? That is not how you sell $50,000 of personal training. So even though, like, obviously there's a huge portion of the course that dives in how to do this. I've done webinars on this also. And so it would take us hours and hours to practice all of the stuff that we teach. But this portion right here of the course, probably the most important when it comes to selling big packages of training.
Totally. All right. Step number 5, follow up on your commitments and over deliver. You guys, if you get our course because you want to make a lot of money and you're not going to be a good trainer, I want you to hang up right now and don't get my course. Okay. I don't want anybody associated with us who's a crappy trainer. Okay. At period, end of story. Follow up on your commitment and over deliver. Bottom line, step number 5, if you want to be a 6-figure trainer, is you got to be good. You got to have integrity. You got to care about the people that you're working with, and you got to over deliver their expectations. Okay. By the way, that comes along with under promising. I'm going to tell you, here's a great formula and way for you to look like an idiot, is you over promise. Okay. Don't over promise. Don't tell Mrs. Johnson she can lose 30 pounds in 2 months. Why? Because the math works out and everything's perfect. You can do it in 2 months. Nobody does that in 2 months in a real effective way. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No. So under promise, which allows you to over deliver, and always, always, always follow up on your commitment and show them how great you are. Here's why this is so important. Really good trainers stop having to get clients after about a year. If you do a good job, you're pretty much done searching and trying to get clients after a year. Referrals come to you, or your books are full and you're making 6 figures. This is a fact. The last 10 years of my training career, the vast majority of my clients were with me for 10 years. I didn't need any more clients. I had my client load and that was it. And that happens from step number 5. Okay. Our training package, our course, it's incredibly valuable, you guys. If you don't have it, I'm telling you guys right now, get it. And if you get it now, whenever we do these webinars, whenever we do these live presentations, everything's discounted and we throw in a bunch of free stuff. It's mindpumptrainer.com. There is a discount code. What is the discount code? Sales 25. Sales 25 is going to get you a discount and get you a bunch of free stuff. Here's what you get when you get our course. You get our course, which is going to give you the CEUs. You get 2 months of our business building CRM. The CRM, which we'll get to in just a second, is literally a program that manages your entire business for you, including emails, including free guides, which I'll get to in just a second. Those are our guides, you guys, that we created. You can use them all now to collect leads. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Maps Prime, Prime Pro, included for free. You get the high converting strategies without social media. That's a new thing that we just talked about. Dr. Cabral is going to allow you to sell and use the minerals and metals test. In other words, you can administer this to your clients to test for things like heavy metals, get paid on it. It's also an extra service that a lot of trainers aren't able to offer. And then you get group strategy calls with Ann. She's incredibly valuable. She does an incredible job. This is the CRM, you guys. CRM will allow you to build landing pages. It allows you to do emails. It allows you to manage your clients' calendars. You can schedule all your social media posts. You can take payments. Here's my favorite part. I'm going to go all the way down to the white labeled top performing lead magnets. We have lead magnets. If you go to mindpumpfree.com, you've probably seen them. How to lose fat, how to build muscle, how to get a bench press, whatever. We use and they're valuable, by the way. If you get them, you learn from them. We made them valuable. But you can use those now to collect leads. You can use our guides to collect leads. So when you get the CRM, which is free for 2 months. So for 2 months, you pay nothing. After that, it's like $99 a month if you want it. But those guides you can use those and post those on social media and have people give you their emails to get those free guides. We created them. They're all done, ready to go. This is all in the CRM that's included when you become a Mind Pump trainer by getting our course.
And the last thing I'll say, because before joining Mind Pump, I had several of these different softwares for myself. Even if you just had a landing page like ClickFunnels, like many of us have, that's $97.97 a month. You're not paying anything right now for 2 months. And then after that, it's $97 a month, right? So it's less than ClickFunnels, which is one of your software. And it's also going to allow you to eliminate so many other programs that you have monthly reoccurring revenue for.
This is the most disruptive thing that we offer is this CRM. So you're also going to get the new course, How You Build Your Business Without Social Media. You could take this and apply it tomorrow. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you do what we teach you in this course right here, you'll make more money by next week. This requires no social media, no posting. I need to get followers. I need to do any of that stuff. I literally can do this right now in my gym, in my studio, outside with businesses, and we teach you how to do it. And again, it's roundtable discussion forum where Adam, Justin, and myself teach you guys.
And the last thing I'll say is you'll see a masterclass of Sal actually speaking at his local parish. So everything that we're teaching, you're going to see role plays for, so that you can visualize yourself actually executing what you're learning. So it's extremely powerful.
Okay. This right here is hold on a second. Let me move this down here. You're going to get the first 10 people, like I said, are going to get a live group strategy call with our directors. This is something we normally charge for. This is more individualized. So the first 10 people to sign up for our course today are going to get some individualized help from our directors on how to build their business, what they should do for what they're doing. Doesn't matter. Social media, in person. What can you do to help me build my individual business? The first 10 people are going to get that for free.
On top of that, the guys leverage their audience from the podcast and they bring speakers into our paid forum. And that's incredible. This month we have Jordan Syatt coming in. He's actually coming in next week. We had Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. We had Jasmine Starr. We had Dr. Cabral. We had so many people based on the pain points that our trainers are experiencing as they're in the trenches. So if there is a subject that you're extremely passionate about, whether it's in the health or fitness world or on the business side, the guys are able to leverage their incredible community and bring those individuals in for you entirely for free as well.
In other words, you get our course, you're going to learn from the best people in the industry that come on our podcast, and we leverage our podcast to be able to do that. Here's the price for our course and all the stuff that you said. It's $10.97 with the code SALES25. Here's the best part. You ready? You guys ready? Go to the next slide, Ann. You can sign up right now, pay nothing, and pay no interest for 6 months. Okay? Everybody here right now, if you don't have our course, you go to mindpumptrainer.com, use the code SALES25. You can get the course, pay $0 for 6 months with no interest. In other words, you can pay it off over 6 months. It'll cost you $0 extra than the $10.97 that you saw, and you get all that stuff. So there's basically, and we did this because we know getting started as a trainer, $1,000 is $1,000. So now you can get started, and I'm going to tell you right now, within the first couple months, you'll make that money and then some, so this shouldn't be a problem. So the way you get started, mindpumptrainer.com, code SALES25 gets you all the stuff. Again, you can pay $10.95 now, or you can pay nothing for 6 months, and there you go. Do we have a winner, Ann, that we're going to give that the Build Your Business Without Social Media course away for?
Yeah, we do. I haven't been scrolling the chat here. Kyle, are you on here still? I thought I saw
Yeah,
you.
I'm here.
Kyle, I know you've been patrolling the chat. Have you seen anyone kind of consistently popping out?
There's quite a few people that have been active the
There's
whole
been a
time.
few.
Yeah.
Do you want to choose one? I mean, Katie said I'm fire, so I mean, I feel like I want to choose her.
Oh, geez,
Well, you just picked her.
That's how you're gonna choose.
You just picked her, dude.
Clearly. No, I'm kidding. No, Kyle, help me out.
Give it to her. Give it to her. Give it to her. That's fine. Hook her
All right,
up.
fine.
It
Katie.
was
Hook her up.
random. It's at random.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Katie, I will I'll hook you up. I'll take your information down and we'll get you set up with that course. You are going to absolutely love it. Congratulations.
Good job.
And going forward, just for everybody, just to reiterate, the way we prepare for these, the sales side of it and everything like that, start having our trainers be able to sit in it. I hope you guys like that. I mean, I thought I would like that. I think that part is really cool to see kind of the behind the scenes. I love anytime I can get behind the scenes of anybody business wise. And just I want to touch a little more on the value of the CRM because it kind of goes over a lot of trainers, especially early trainers' head, like how valuable it is. The amount that it's been millions of dollars it's costed us to build that platform out, especially it's probably over 10 million when you think about all the things that we've built into it, all the different lead generators. This is what makes Mind Pump go. So obviously the podcast is where we over deliver value and we talk to millions of people every single month, but it's all the free stuff that we continually give. That's what brings those people into our email list. And then our email list is where we put out sales for MAPS programs. And for those of you that care and want numbers, because this is a business type of call, we on average sell 250 MAPS programs a day. All of those come in from the lead magnets that we have put out on the internet that you guys now get to use yours. And so that can be used like, how to lose body fat in whatever the title is for our thing, or how to build your arms, or how to build your legs, or how to improve your squat. If you go to mindpumpfree.com, you can see what they all are. I'm sure people on here, a lot of you have probably seen them or downloaded them yourselves. That now becomes yours. And you can now put it in your Instagram or put it in your guys' email, however you want to use it, or write a blog and attach it to there. And then those leads now go to your email list. And now that you can learn how to, and then of course, the point of the CRM and bringing people in there is to teach you guys how to use a tool like that. I wish that we understood this software. This didn't exist when we started. We pay for a company called HubSpot, and we've chose to partner up with High Level for all you guys. It is far more inexpensive. HubSpot costs our company $7,000 a month for all this type of software. And you guys, first of all, get access to it for 2 months for absolutely free. Even after that, if you decide to enroll and use it, it's a fraction of that. And so if you don't know how to use our CRM, or you're unaware of that, I cannot tell you how valuable that is and how important that is to scaling your business. I think what we talked about today is how to become a six-figure trainer. And you can do that without a CRM, just becoming a good trainer, getting the reps in, taking all the tools that we teach you in the course. But going beyond that, that's where the CRM comes in there. So the idea is to start to educate you all on that and help you guys through that process. I wish we had that when we first started.
All right. All right, good. Mindpumptrainer.com. The code is sales25. Remember, the first 10 get some coaching from our directors, Mind Pump directors. And yep.
Is Ann, are you those first 10? Because I know I see stuff going on already. Are those 10 you're going to just email them personally?
Yeah, I'll set up a time that, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if we want to do it individually or a group.
Okay.
But yeah, should be good.
But okay, you already say so. Because I know there's some people that are probably going to be wondering because they're buying right now. Okay, am I one of the first 10? So she'll email you personally and let you know if you're one of the first 10. Thank you guys.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for attending. We love you guys. Thank you for supporting Mind Pump. We're going to keep doing our best to provide